This is a short presentation for e-learning managers and instructors on how, and a little bit of why, to support cultural diversity in online courses. To help us understand the issues of cultural diversity and online learning, I'd like to introduce Gulnura. Gulnura is enrolled in an online master's degree program in public administration at a U.S. university. She's not a native English speaker, and she doesn't live in the U.S. In fact, she's never been to the U.S. She selected the U.S. degree program because financial administration is a new field in her country, and few universities offer a comparable degree. She's motivated to learn. However, as with many online students, she's juggling family responsibilities, a full-time job, and her studies. Gulnura is a bit anxious about beginning the program. She expects that most of her classmates will be native English speakers, Americans, and full-time students. So let's take a look at her cohort. Who are her classmates? While there are 22-year-old full-time students in her cohort, the majority of her classmates are non-traditional students. They come from diverse ethnic and religious backgrounds. And Gulnura is not the only native speaker, nor the only student abroad. Gould and Caldwell define diversity as anything within a cohort that distinguishes the individual student from the class norm. It looks like her cohort is a diverse group. But after just a few weeks in class, Gulnura does not realize this because she can't see them, and her interaction with them through forum posts and chats is relatively anonymous. This anonymity is one of the things that should make the internet an ideal venue for learning. As Jeffrey Young states in an article in the Chronicle of Higher Education, the internet seems like a learning utopia where you are assessed by your merits, not judged according to biases. But for Gulnura, as for many students, this anonymity hasn't led to an ideal learning experience. Instead, it's one of the obstacles to learning. Gulnura feels invisible to other students. Her cultural identity is who she is, and she feels like it's ignored or just unnoticed by her classmates. In forum discussions, it's clear they assume she's just like them, that she understands their cultural references and approaches problems and tasks in the same way. And without a physical presence, she also has difficulty understanding her classmates. She isn't physically present to catch the cues that make you more culturally sensitive. There are other obstacles for Gulnura as well. Gulnura is what researchers call embedded in her own culture. While she is online, virtually part of the culture of her class, the world around her is a different cultural reality, so that not only is her cultural background, her ethnic background, different from her classmates, but her day-to-day reality is different too. This reality creates issues for learning in ways as pedestrian as scheduling. Synchronous classes meet in the middle of the night. Most students post discussion items while she's sleeping, so her responses are delayed. But they are also as complex as communication style, understanding of time, and relationships. That's not it for obstacles. Language is also an issue. The three-ring circus environment of a synchronous session at times overwhelms Gulnura. Asynchronous discussion forums give her more time to craft a response. Gulnura is also unfamiliar with the U.S. academic system, which differs greatly from her own. So, what do we do about these obstacles? How can we create an environment that includes Gulnura, that allows her to learn, and also to contribute her unique perspective and experience? We've seen that creating such an environment is necessary. Diversity is increasing, and the obstacles are considerable. How do we go about it? We are going to look at 3 areas of online course design that can be leveraged to support diversity: access, content, and pedagogy. Access. Students have to be able to access the experience and the knowledge. Of course, this relates to connectivity and technology. Students have to be able to get online, access the course website, download the types of files the course requires. But access is more than this. Scheduling is an access issue. The time classes begin, assignment deadlines, and requirements for responses, awareness of holidays, are all things that can affect student participation in an online course. Language is also often an access issue. Courses need to offer a variety of tools for communication, synchronous and asynchronous, written and oral. Interface design is an access issue. Students from different academic traditions need clear structure to navigate the content. Lastly, students need an orientation to set expectations and introduce them to U.S. academic culture. Orientation for domestic students should include a discussion of cross-cultural communication, as communication is a two-way street. Content. Content needs to be relevant. This is directly connected to student motivation. If all the case studies in Gulnora's fundraising class relate specifically to U.S. donors, she'll lose interest. Instructors to use examples, cases, problems, materials that are from a variety of cultural contexts. It's difficult for instructors to know exactly what is relevant for students. Course resources should be developed together, with students contributing to the core class resources. Pedagogy to support diverse learners should create opportunities for meaningful interaction and build community. Because of the obstacles for learners like Gulnora, building community can take extra effort. Researchers suggest humanizing the online environment, creating student introductory pages, offering a variety of communication tools, and providing opportunities for students to collaborate on meaningful content. Researchers also suggest using a variety of pedagogies and assessment methods when working with culturally diverse students. Students come from a variety of academic cultures, and using a variety of pedagogies increases the likelihood that something will be familiar, which can make students feel more comfortable, at ease, and ready to learn. That's a lot of work to help a handful of students fit in. Is it worth it? Well, first of all, it's not a handful of students. Online programs provide access to an increasingly diverse group of students. And it's not just about fitting in. Diversity is an opportunity. Exposure to diverse classrooms prepare our students for an increasingly globalized world. In their 2006 annual report on e-learning, the Sloan Foundation reported that 85% of U.S. institutions of higher education agreed that increasing diversity of the student body was a strategically important goal for the institution. And lastly, in his research review of distance education, Unser writes, "Good practices for culturally diverse online learning environments are good practices for teaching in general." It's work we should already be doing.